Hello, everybody. Just waiting for someone to jump into the chat. I hope the beginning of everybody's week is going well. I can't believe it's already Tuesday. It's kind of crazy. I have interesting stories to tell, having just gotten back from the Penn dry goods market. That was a lot of fun. We had a really, really good time. I hope like other people will be enticed to go. Hi, Janet. Thanks for coming in so I'm not talking to myself. It's always so much better when you're talking to at least one person. And even though like I've taken photos of stuff, I have my bag of goodies here in case we want to look at anything, more closely, or if I'm going to investigate any part of the item. I just kind of unload my bag here. I was in the middle of doing that and then I got sidetracked. It's early for you. Oh yeah, I forgot. You're all the way over there. Yeah, I mean, luckily it's still light here, even though it's 8:05. I think the sun's setting here right now around 8:20 or something like that. I love it when it stays late. Oh my god, give that to me all day long. When the sun sets at like 4:15, I'm miserable. Hi, Jan. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. I thought since the whole, I'm not going to go into detail because it's not my story to tell, but the family emergency had to do with Steph. It didn't have to do with me. I will say everybody's okay. But there were just a lot of logistical things that just kept Stephanie from being able to get home in time to do our stream. And it's not that I couldn't have done it by myself. It's just, it's so much more interesting if her and I are talking about it, together. So I had just quickly taken a bunch of photos of stuff that I had gotten at the Penn dry goods market and thought, I could at least do like a quick pop-up stream since people seem to like to look at, hauls of stuff that people got. Yeah, I've gotten quite a few messages today, Janet, about, I hope everyone's okay. Everyone is okay. Which is good. It's just, adulting happens and things get in the way. So yeah, first I thought I would just tell you how the Penn show was. I thought I'd had a flyer here for them, but I do not. So the show that we just got back from was Friday and Saturday. It's in Pennsburg, Pennsylvania, and it's put on at the Schwenkfelder Library and Heritage Center. Hello, DeMarie. That's a really nice facility that they have there. That's like a museum / they've got like some conference rooms, and I actually haven't even been through the whole thing, even though like it's open, to view when we're there, but I'm so laser focused on what we're doing that I totally get sidetracked. So they put on this thing that's antique show meets lecture series. And the lectures they had this year were awesome. It was really, really hard to choose which ones to go to. They are trying now to like record as many of them as they can. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to sell them after the fact. So pretty soon you might be able to like buy a recording. I think it's like $15 or something. One thing they can't record though is when they do quilt turnings, and those are super great. And they did the same one this year, both days, which is good because they sell out really, really fast because it's limited seating because, you're around this, big table. So I think one year I went, they had a different one each day and you had to like quickly register to like jump into that. So I did that. And then my friend Ann Hermes gave a talk about gingham embroidery. Also often mistakenly referred to as chicken scratch embroidery, which I found out is a branch of gingham embroidery, but not all gingham embroidery is chicken scratch. Her lecture was great. It was really kind of funny. And it was at the Buck Crack of Dawn. 8:45 is early, but I said I will get up early to go to a lecture that early. Like, it reminds me of like being in college early. But I will get up to go to a lecture for my friends that early. And then I saw another one about revisiting mended textiles in museums by Emily. I think her last name was Whitted. She's a PhD candidate at UMass Boston Amherst. And I wanted to see her lecture, particularly just because of my alma mater is UMass Boston. So I was interested to see, who she was and who she was studying with. I didn't get a chance to talk to her, sadly. Janet, you did some chicken scratch in the South back in the Amy Spouse days. It was I didn't know anything at all about gingham embroidery, like nothing. And then it's so funny. Once you like kind of, you start learning about a thing and then you start to see it everywhere. So that was interesting. And then let's see I also saw a lecture on, what county was it? Off the top of my head, I can't think of what county. Like everything in Pennsylvania, they always talk about everything in terms of counties, which is bizarre because while there are counties in Massachusetts, we don't discuss things really based on county. It's by town. So it was some county chintz quilts by Lori Triplett. That was also very interesting. And it was cut work, broderie purse, chintz quilts, and they brought one that was massive and really interesting to look at. So there was that. Those were lectures. Stephanie went to two different ones than I did. I don't remember. One of them she went to was about like shell work and something else. So there's often like lectures about samplers and other kinds of needlework. Sometimes there's a lecture about tools. There was, I feel like there was like 12 lectures to choose from this year, which was a lot. And it was very hard to choose. So then after the lectures, there's a big yard sale that happens on the first floor, which is basically like your garden variety Quilters Guild sale. People bring fabric and books. And this year I saw a ton of yarn. Lots of notions and lots of interesting. The yard sale this year was huge, way bigger than the other. I've gone 2 other years, and it was, and I'm talking like ridiculously cheap stuff. Like if you're like a scrap quilter like I am, they'll sell like bags of fabric together for like $1 or $2. Fat quarters are $1. Blair Stalker does a lot of chicken scratch. I'll have to look her up. I haven't paid attention. I didn't even know that people were even teaching classes about that, especially for quilt folk. Very interesting. So then upstairs at 10 o'clock on the first day opens the antique show, which is, it's something like 20 vendors or something like that. And they basically, there's like two galleries, and then I think another room is kind of like an officey kind of room or something. But they basically they take two big galleries upstairs and they empty them of all the museum holdings from those galleries. Even one room has like cases on the walls, and they remove all the stuff out of them, and they move in vendors. And it's generally higher end stuff, like collector type stuff. And it's quilts, it's textiles, it's needlework tools. There are a couple of sampler vendors that, one of them looks like he brings like 50 samplers with him. Let's see, Jane Laurie vends quilts there. There's some people that do like a lot of notions vending. There's another person there that does kind of like primitive wares. There's lots of very cool stuff. And it's a really great show if you're like looking to buy things for your collection, and maybe you've been saving a few bucks to buy something really nice. That's definitely a great place to go and see stuff. And let's see, Nancy Hahn was there. Probably my favorite vendor that goes, her name is Karen Redinger. She's based in Connecticut. I always see her when I go to the Sturbridge show, and she does a kind of a mix of quilts, other textiles, needlework tools. We're kind of the same vendor. She's just many more years into it than I am. And she's had some really great stuff. She bought a sewing collection not too long ago, like a massive collection that she's been slowly weeding through. And I saw her at the Sturbridge show 2 weeks ago, and she makes these bins of things, like those it's like canvas bins that you like put into like a square bookshelf or something. She has a couple of those, and she has been filling them with like tools on cards, and then she puts them in like plastic, and it's a way to bring more than you can actually like nicely display. And then like you dig through these bins to get to the stuff, which is a blessing and a curse, because like you're literally having to like rifle through. I was like, this is so difficult. I want to take the bin and I want to put it on the floor and I want to spread everything out and I want to look at every little thing. I probably stood over her bins, there's two of them, rifling through for like an hour. And your girl left with stuff. So I'm going to show you that stuff. It's just really going to be stuff from her, although there is more stuff. I just didn't have time to take pictures of it. The one stinker is that we really kind of noticed that the show was really quiet this year. Normally, if we were getting out of a lecture right around the time that the doors open, there is usually a line waiting to get in of, just the public. They might come like just for the antique show and not do any lectures or anything. And normally in that vendor mall, like the first day on Friday, you at 10 o'clock for the first 2-3 hours, maybe, you can't move in that vendor mall. Like it's crazy busy. Saturdays usually always quiet. But I noticed when we got out of Anne's lecture at 9:45 and went into that vendor hall for 10, there was like nobody in there. So we couldn't figure out if we were competing with something. I couldn't, no one could really think of anything else that was going on at the time. apparently historically they used to compete with Brimfield and that would hurt them, but they don't anymore because Brimfield was 2 weeks prior to that. So my only other thought was like graduations were happening, and I don't know, but hopefully other people will go. I can say that our friend here, Jen Kazor, came. I know Tish had mentioned potentially going. She didn't go, but like maybe next year. So and then our friend Barbara Garrett did say that the dates for next year were posted, but I feel like she said it was I feel like she said it was going to be the 30th and the 31st for 2025. It's always a Friday and Saturday, which really messes me up in terms of like thinking where I am in my day and my week and stuff. But I feel like that's what she said it was going to be. So you should totally consider going. It's really fun. And also like we like all stay in the same hotel, and there's like, well, the same couple hotels because there's 2 hotels like in the same parking lot, and we all stay in the same one. And so, at night we like get together in the lobby and hang out, and we do show and tell, and people might bring handwork or something to work on, or we have munchies, or it's an all around like good time. So definitely consider doing that. Now, with that, let me share my screen. It's gonna be I'm gonna have to pull up. I forgot to pull up the stream on my phone so that I can see the comments after. Give me just 1 second here. Okay. There we go. Stay there. Stay. Okay. It's gonna be screenception for a second. Don't get scared. Let's see. Woo! It's scary. Open up. Thank you. Okay. So the first thing to show you is I've got a couple of photos here from Karen Redinger's booth that she had recently bought a shoe pincushion collection, which I was like, oh my God, that's so funny, since we had, just done our first Needlework Nights that was all shoes. So one thing I did, I don't know if you saw on the Instagram the other day, I shared this picture and a couple more, and kind of said like, hey, if you watched our stream about this, go to this person. She's got a great shoe collection. And I shared her Instagram, which I did put in the description of this video already. If you wanted to pop over, she doesn't like sell online actively. She just shows, but obviously if you, send her a picture or something, or told her, I saw this and that, like she would obviously, I already talked to her about it. She would take care of you online and ship if you needed that. And then this was another part of her display. So Steph and I oogled these for quite some time because there's some very interesting ones. There's also a lot of pairs. So remember we were talking about how we don't see a whole lot of pairs, and it's not necessarily that it's a pair of shoes, meaning a right and the left, but at least like this person who bought this collection might have bought like more than one shoe. Like, so you see back here, there's 2 of these blue ones. And then we noticed like the longer we looked, because I think actually there were a couple on the first page, the more we saw, like, see, here's that green one, and then here's this green one. And then I think like these 2 back here were the same. There were definitely more. Oh, I think like these 2 here were the same. And she had this, and this was actually 3-tiered. I just grabbed the 2 bottom tiers, but yeah, I see like 2 of these, might be these 2 here, were the same shoe. It was a really good amount of shoes if you wanted to get your feet wet, ha ha, in the shoes. And it's so cute. You'll see it later, but um, Stephanie and I actually, because there were 2 of this one particular shoe, we actually each bought the same one. So we have like friendship shoes. Isn't that just like the cutest thing you've ever seen? All right. So, oh, that picture didn't come out super great. That's a stinker. Sometimes it's hard for cameras to focus when there's a bunch of stuff going on the screen. There's another picture though, don't worry. This is a bone pin keep, supposedly from a chatelaine, that I thought was very, very interesting. I don't think I haven't come across many bone ones. I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't seen them. And I just thought this one was really, really pretty. So Janet asked, are these like bronzed shoes or metal to look like shoes? Most of them, Janet, aren't like, do you mean like, are they real shoes? Most of them are not real shoes that someone has turned into a pincushion. They're small. They're much small. They're smaller than that. Like, I've just got one here in my hand that you'll see, but see, like, it's like the size of my hand. I have seen some that were like children or infants shoes that were then, bronzed and turned into a pincushion, or not even bronze. They were just left as they are. I think I showed one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I showed one on our like first thing, on our first needlework nights when we did the shoe pincushions. That's like, it's a child's shoe that someone just turned into a pincushion. A lot of them are like this one in my hand is like a porcelain, or I don't know, maybe like a Bakelite or something like that. Some of them are actual metal. Some of them are like, painted to look a certain way. There's all different kinds. I've even got one that's kind of almost like a cast iron kind of situation. I feel like they can use anything they want to make into shoes. Oh, you missed the first show. You got to go back and watch the rerun. They're all on here. We saved them all for everybody to look at. Oh, there's a whole lot more than just glass shoes as pincushions. There's a lot more. I feel like if they can turn anything into a shoe pincushion, they will turn anything into a shoe pincushion. That's one of the reasons why we did that as the first show, because I feel like shoe pincushions are such an easy way to get into collecting either pincushions alone or just needlework tools altogether, because it's just so plentiful. And once you start seeing them, it's one of those scenarios, you're going to see it everywhere. So yeah, back to my pin keep here. It's a really nice size too. I didn't measure stuff, but I've got a ruler right here. So this is like 1.5 in diameter, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little more. It's like a hair less than half an inch thick. So yeah, that's a hefty. It's a hefty boy. So that's getting. I also have a funny story to tell you about rifling through these bins. So this is very, very pretty. I could not resist. It does have a little bit of damage to it, but I mean, you kind of expect that, right? Um, it's a silk needle roll, and it holds pins in the end, and I have a couple. Well, the last unboxing I did, I showed this big one, which I know I'm small right now. I showed this much larger one that's silk and has channels in it, for putting things, your needles and your threads through. This one doesn't have channels. There's some pins sticking down to one side. Here's the beginnings of it opening. It opens very long. I just couldn't get all of that into one photo. But you'll see it has like two like pages there. And there's the end of it. And then pretty pins all inside of it and stuff like that. But it probably, let's see how, if I can get, let's see. Yeah, so like here's how long it opens. It's probably, let's see, it's like at least 1.5 feet long. These things are so great. So yeah, there's that pretty lady. Woo. Close. And then this little pin key is very interesting. So let's see. Silk beaded. So like those little hexies are super tiny. Let me see. So it's like a 3/4 hexie. That's really tiny. And then it's got a little bit of fabric gloss there on the front in the blue. I've never seen one like this that's like got all that and it's beaded. And then there's the side to show the thickness. It doesn't have any pins in it currently. Oh no, wait, it does. It does have one pin in it. There's one pin in the side. Not the side I took a picture of, obviously. But yeah, it's one little baby pin. I will tell you guys if there's something that's 100% staying in my collection. A couple of things I haven't necessarily decided about. So if there's anything that you see that's interesting, you're welcome to message me about it. Even though like none of this is like officially like on my page or anything. So this stiletto is really gorgeous. This is probably the most stilettos I've ever bought ever. I guess the person whose collection she got this from really liked stilettos. This one's marked sterling, which I know when it's marked sterling like that, it's generally not as old. But this one is also marked F and B. Let's see if I can. Nope, that's not what I want. Where's my little, there it is. Where's my little zoom button? Yeah, it was hard to get a picture that close that would stay. But yeah, look at that little F and B in sterling. I just love all the detail work on this. And it's funny, I used to never ever use a stiletto in my own sewing. And once I started, I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I am going to use a stiletto all the time. What about you guys? Do you guys use them regularly? Okay, and we've got, so, see, I tried to get a closer up, but as soon as I started to get closer, it started to get kind of blurry. So then this guy is kind of a little cute kind of make do, pen holder. What's cute about it, for one, it's velvet, and the velvet's in good shape. Oh, DeMarie uses the point of her seam ripper. I can use that in a pinch. Yeah, if I can't find anything. And Jan, you use one too. Yeah, I am. Sometimes, I mean, honestly, like sometimes I've even used a pen if I really need to. I feel like the one I have in my sewing table is just like I think it's plastic. and nothing fancy. But then seeing all of these like really pretty ones really made me think that like I deserve a fancy one, don't I? Like I should really like fancy that up. But yeah, so this cute little pin this pin needle case here, when it opens, it kind of looks like a book. I opened up to a page that doesn't have any needles like other ones. Well, these have mostly pins in them, but obviously you could put whichever ones you want. But yeah, the velvet is in like super great shape. Oh, Janet, I have a Bernina too. Although I have an older Bernina. I have a Bernina from like the 90s. But new Bernina feet are really really big. I haven't sewed on one, so I'll have to take your word for it. But yeah, I feel like stilettos are they're so handy. Um, there's really no reason not to use one. And it's especially too if you're sewing like triangles and you're feeding triangles through your machine, like it really kind of helps, in my opinion, to stop your machine from eating it if you can like feed it in just the right way with your stiletto. And then here is a perforated paper embroidery pin keep. Well, I guess cross stitch. And I mean, this little guy is so cute and he's tiny. Let's see. He's 1.5. No, he's 1.25 by 1.5. And there's the back. Cute little wreath. And then it's the pin keep inside is silk. And it's very minimally used. There's only just a couple of pinholes. So D. Marie wants to see a top or blocks that I'm making one of these days. I have quite a few quilts in progress. I am one of those people where I have to have like 20 projects going at once because I have to be able to kind of do a little bit for this one and do a little bit for that one. So I definitely have stuff in progress that I can show. There's one that I'm making to look antique. I'm not using strictly repro fabric or anything, but I'm using a lot of fabric that would look more antique. And then of course I'm, doing the Mary Witherwax with stuff. I just haven't got my butt going yet because I just got home yesterday from the Penn show. I was after Penn's. I went down a little further down into Pennsylvania to do some more sourcing, which was actually kind of a bust. I really didn't find anything, which was a bummer because I went somewhere that's usually really fruitful and it wasn't because a lot of changes have happened in that area. So that was a super duper stinker. So yeah, I just put this together last minute having just got home, but I can certainly show things at some point. Actually, maybe Steph and I could do a stream that's just about works in progress. And I could be like, and I've got this project going and this project going and this project going. By the end, you'll be like, okay, that's enough projects. Just calm down now. So we've got this stiletto. This one is really pretty. It reminded me kind of like a holly leaf. Is it holly? Yeah, I think it's holly. Isn't holly shaped kind of like this? Like it made me feel very Christmassy. I don't know. It's the same on the front as it is on the back. But and it's really the tip there that you're holding, the finger area, whatever. I'm sure that's probably called something special. The finger area has, I'm not gonna be able to show it on camera at all, but it has, at the top here, a spot that's very, like, it's very worn, like from a finger. So It's actually the other side that I didn't show because it looks a little more tarnished right there from feels like it's like from constant use. So I like things like that where, kind of the person's left their mark on the item from use. It just makes it feel a little more interesting. And then, like when you hold it, it feels like they kind of like held it kind of like this. I don't know. It makes it feel like you're kind of just like connecting the person, like putting your hands in the Hollywood, um, one of those Hollywood squares where they stick their hands in and then you put your hands in there too. That's kind of what it feels like. There's my little sentimental nerding for today. Okay, so Janet says she's got a holly tree in the front yard. Okay, yes, it's holly. How it would be held without the points being in your hand? Well, I feel like it was held probably like if I don't know particularly how they were using this one, but if I was using this on a sewing machine, right? It's like this is the bed of my machine. I would probably hold it like this to guide the fabric under my foot. Not necessarily not like this or, like I would just be daintily holding it as like an extended finger, like you're not going to point your finger in there. But that's just my guess. And obviously, like the pokey parts, they're not really pokey. They just look pokey. You hold just like a pen. Yeah, depending on. I might have a pen. Yeah, if I was using a pen, I might, hold mine kind of like a pen. But these are long, where these are not. Like this. This is only 3 inches long. I wonder if anyone knows why they're historically short like that. But yeah, I think that probably has a lot to do with how you're going to hold it too, is how long it is. Okay. This is just a cute little pin disc. It's velvet and it's red and green, which is what, I am really not that person that goes for the Christmas in July stuff. Spending 20 years in retail, I was used to having Christmas from September through December. So any other time of the year, I didn't want any Christmas. But this would make me think of Christmas because it's green with red thread. And yes, for anyone asking, those are my real nails. I had someone ask me that actually on Monday when I was checking out of my hotel and I was signing my thing. Those are my real nails. But isn't that cute? It's just simple and cute. And it looks like it's got like a little, you can see like right here, this little like loop on it to like attach it to something. So I was wondering if potentially it was maybe on one of those chatelaines that's the ribbon chatelaines. Made me wonder potentially if it was on one of those. But now it could be on anything that you would want it to be on. This little cutie. I've never seen a pyramid like this. Normally when you find these types of like pin square things, it's just a square. It's not like a pyramid like this. I mean, I'm sure there's others out there. I just have never seen one. And of course, this like angel thing on top, which I don't know about you, but I remember in the 90s, being really big in like stationery and stuff like that. So that kind of gave me like this little like feeling of nostalgia to see this little cherub guy. Although, it's funny, his wings are weird. His wings are not super angel-like to me. They almost look like butterfly-ish or even kind of reptilian. That's just a little weird aside. Feel free to weigh in. What do you think? Like, aren't his wings kind of weird? Actually, maybe it almost kind of looks like a seashell. But yeah, it's not like stereotypical angel wing, cheruby wings to me. Baby dragon, yeah. Well, I mean, we can only see one. I'm sure there's probably two. But I have a feeling because he's like leaning, you're only supposed to see one. The other one, I'm guessing, would probably be like back here based on how it is. But yeah, like now that you've pointed out only one, now it looks weird. So now I'm like, hey dude, where's your other wing? What do you think their name is? I'm guessing it's a male cherub, only because I mean we're topless here. So yeah, non-symmetrical. But yeah, like what do you think this cherub's name might be? Like Hubert? Something odd to go with his odd wing. And then here's the bottom. I haven't looked up this name or anything. Only genuine with this trademark. So if I rip this thing off, it's not genuine anymore. Just so you know. This, nobody fall in love with this. This is for my personal collection. This was a, happy June to me gift. Sorry about the crinkling. This hand painted on paper needlebook, silk bound, and it's from you see the names on there, E.B. Reynolds to S. I'm guessing it's pronounced like Jendel. You can zoom in here. Oh, good. It stays good. Just never know what the zoom. Like, look at the detail on this flower. Isn't that crazy? And like all these little berries. I just love stuff that's signed. You know what's funny? So the dealer thought that this was a G, but now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks like a Y. Like Yendel. What do you guys think? Is it a G or is it a Y? I feel like it's a Y. I could see where far away it would be a G, but now I really think it's a Y. It's definitely an S. This is definitely like E.B. Reynolds. But yeah, I think this is Yendel. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And then here's the inside of it. In nice condition. Looks fairly new condition. And then here's the back. This back is like just as pretty as the front. I can only imagine like the brushes they must be like using to paint some of this must have like 2 bristles with all that detail. Such a great piece. I was very excited about it. And definitely one of those, nicer pieces you kind of wait for. Even though of course it has some, some wear to it and stuff. I don't generally expect anything to be perfect. That's more like a happy discovery if it is. But if it's perfect, I bet no one used it. So are any of these things repaired? Not that I've noticed, like not like an obvious repair that I can tell at this particular juncture. Like I said, I haven't like spent time really perusing. I just kind of ran home, grabbed the stuff, took some quick pictures. I know there's some things that are definitely not repaired, like like the sewing roll here, the needle roll. There's, I didn't show you, but like along the edge of the roll, there's like some area where the edging has clearly been like kind of torn a little bit. So I haven't seen anything like that. Do they go through any repair, or would that negate their worth? Oh, do you mean like would I repair something? I have not repaired anything. I don't. I guess it would depend on how well it's prepared as whether or not it would hurt their value, and it would probably really depend on what it is. Now, if I like on this needle, this book here, if I like took off all this taping edge on the edge here and repaired that and put something new on, yeah, that could hurt its worth. I've had some where just like a quilt, if the binding's been redone, um but it also depends sometimes on the collector. Someone might not care. It might not matter to them that the tape that the binding is new, because if the binding before was non-existent, you know, that could certainly hurt its worth. So I really think it depends. And everyone has definitely seen pieces that where a dealer has quote repaired something, and it's a horrible repair job. It looks worse than when it was quote damaged. um there's varying degrees of what people would consider to be damaged. Like, I don't feel like this needle roll is, actually I can just take it out and show you which one we're talking about, is a foot and a half long. So I don't really consider one small area, here it is right here. I don't consider one small area where there's a tear on the edge. Now, I mean, this ribbon here is silk. So like, I don't consider this one small spot of damage to be the be all end all of me loving a piece. So I probably would not consider repairing that. Also, I'm not qualified to repair something like that. So I would also not mess with trying to repair things that I know I couldn't do to the standard the item deserves if I was going to repair it at all. So Janet has a wooden thread tree with the velvet pin on top is leaking sawdust. I will repair that as it's a family piece. Yeah, so you definitely see pieces where the pincushion's not new. And I would say that my personal opinion is that if the pincushion is in complete disarray, that would probably hurt the piece's value more than if a newer period looking pincushion was put on. But that's my personal opinion. Some people might feel differently about that. But absolutely, if it's a family piece, absolutely repair it. I mean, people were like, we know historically that people repaired their clothing and quilts and to make them last longer, especially if it was a family piece and they wanted it to be around. So don't feel weird about repairing it. Absolutely. So this is a needle case that I thought was very interesting because of the metal work around the edge here. Oh, Janet, you're looking for some of the round-headed nails that are missing as well. There's I'm pretty sure that you're in. Aren't you in Dawn's Needlework Tools group? If you're not, you should join that group, and like you could post a picture of it. And sometimes, if you tell people like, "Oh, I'm looking for this piece of this," sometimes people know where to get that stuff, or they have some maybe that they're willing to share. Like, I've definitely seen some people make some connections for kind of missing pieces and parts that way. So yeah, look at all this metal work right here. That, and then this almost reminded me of like chainmail, like like medieval Under Armour kind of stuff. Just very unusual. Because at first, when I looked at it, I thought this was all thread sitting here. Like it's supposed to be like just that. And when I like it's like it is, but not in a sense of being there for your thread. Like it might actually supposed to function that way, but the way it is on there, it's like glued down. Like like someone took like what's the word I want? The first word that comes to mind is like a hemp, but twine. Um and I guess that's just meant to be part of the look. And then when you go to the next one there, it just came with those needles in it. Very unusual. I like unusual stuff. If you can't tell, I'm sure you can. Unusual stuff for an unusual gal. 'Cause who wants to be regular? And then we got this. I just thought this was cute. There's nothing like particularly special about it, but I just love burnished egg-eyed needles. I just think that's really cute. For those that collect little needle cases. And then here's the back. So this holds like the actual like little paper needle holders that would have, I don't know, 5 to 10 needles in it or something like that, and you could put like a few of them into this case. And then this, so it's funny, I got this because we keep talking about shoe pin cushions, but this one is a boot pin keep where it's flat. And you can see like all these little things are on the bench here. That's all pins. And then the front there, it's a little like hand painted little like flowers. You can see some of it like wearing off. It could have, it's funny. Some of this in this background here almost looks like it could have been a sticker, but I'm wondering if that's just from the paint reacting to the fabric and that had worn off. And I don't know what this. I'm wondering if there was a sticker here, and that's actually the original color, and it's been sun bleached. And then there's the back with another picture. And then the pins going all the way down the sides. I also kind of wonder, like, with something like this, because I was looking at it quickly, and I noticed that like all of the pins that are in here are all the same pins. So it just made me wonder, we generally don't buy cushions, or I don't even think we have pin keeps really anymore. We don't generally buy them with the pins in them already. But because these ones are all the same, I had wondered for a minute, like, was there ever a scenario back then where maybe you bought one of these with the pins already in it? I mean, I'm sure there's an answer. I'm sure our friend Dawn knows. But yeah, I just wondered. I would certainly think like maybe someone would give a gift with the pins already in it, especially if you were wanting it for like a very particular kind of pin, since there's only like 11 million pins out there. This is a bone needle case that I thought was very pretty. I like this like finial on the top. And I just find bone really interesting. Like some people, they would look at this and think, oh, it's a white needle case and like it's dirty. And I was like, it's not dirty. Like this is from the bone on the inside. And it actually even like that top screws off. So can you imagine like carving bone to just be this smooth and pretty, and then literally carving out the channels, to make like that teeth to like have it like screw on and off. I can just only imagine the talent that kind of work takes. And then we have this pin key. It was a time of stilettos, uh, needle cases, and pin keeps, apparently. This is one of those Maclean. I think that's how you say it. I always want to say it wrong. And on here, let's see if we can see it better on here. Oof, sorry, my having an allergy. Like, ugh, the allergies are just terrible. My eyes just start to water uncontrollably. So, let's see. Something castle. Hey, here love. It looks like it's HAERLAVE rock castle. So, however on earth you might pronounce that. Ugh. And that is one really pretty picture of a castle. Obviously, it looks like it's probably in some disarray at this point. But one other thing I really liked was this is such an odd shape. I normally see them and they're square or they're round. I think, in the last unboxing, I'm pretty sure I had a round one. I don't know. There was one too that she had that I was almost tempted to get that was in the shape of like a three leaf clover. I've never seen anything like that before. I know she had like another round one. That might be it. Yeah, this one was really good. I mean, trust me, it was really hard to make decisions, and I spent a really stupid amount of money. There's the back of it. It's really nice wood. And there's the side. This is it's a mother of pearl. She's calling it a lace hook. It definitely could be. I was wondering too if it could be a crochet hook, because of the way that the end is shaped. It was hard. The next picture I have is like a close up of the hook. It was really hard to get my camera to focus on the hook, but yeah, given how the hook is shaped, I wonder if it's crochet. But the handle was just so stunning on it. Obviously, like, it doesn't the that like shimmer effect of mother of pearl doesn't really, it's not really catching on the camera here. And then yeah, it's just a close up of the hook. We're getting down to the bottom of things, just to warn people. Although it's already 9 o'clock. It's amazing how quickly time can go by when you're just like looking at stuff. This is a bone bodkin. I don't know if you remember the last unboxing I did, which if you weren't here for it is, it's up on the YouTube channel. You can watch it. The last unboxing I did, I had a mother of pearl bodkin. So this time when I saw a bone one, there's just something so simplistically pretty about bone. And I don't know, there's something that like makes me happy that people, were using all the parts down to, like, you wouldn't need very much bone to make this thing. It's really thin, and it's only 3 inches long. So talk about you using everything up. And then, here's the shoe pin cushion. So yeah, so I have this shoe, and Steph has the same shoe. What's the most common kind of bone? I think it's cow. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was told it was cow. Although, like, let's see, I have some needlework tools that are made out of like the wishbone of, a turkey. And then I have another one that's small, so it might be like a chicken. Um, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone talk about using pig bone. I think I'm usually seeing cattle. But I don't really know of any way you can necessarily tell unless I was looking at, unless they'd done, actual, like, testing to see what kind of bone it was. And you were literally looking at like the difference between like a pig against, a cow against. But yeah, that's my guess is it's cow or some kind of bovine. So yeah, this is my pretty shoe. Stuff is the same one. It's hard to catch. There you go. Hard to catch the color green. So there's the color green. It's just very simplistically, and I mean it's big. Like this is it in my hand. You know, it's just under 6 inches long. But I don't ever see, like I said, shoes, together like that where there's more than one. So I highly recommend that if you decide to take yourself over to Karen Redinger's site because you want a shoe, I would totally recommend getting two of the same one, and then you can give another one to a friend, and then you can have friendship shoes. It's the new. We're gonna make that like the 2024 kind of. Remember the friendship necklaces that were real big, where you'd each have like half of a heart or something. Yeah. And then this is a little thing of pins. Let's see. There's spring steel needle shanks. They're called berry pins, and they're made in France. And it's G Fox and Company Inc. This little cluster here. There's the top of it, what it looks like. This little cluster here was 10 cents. And they're all black, like even the steel, like the shaft of the pin is black. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I've heard someone call these morning pins, like MOUR, morning. I've never seen them, sold like in their packaging like that, or at least I've never. I'm sure I probably have. I've just never noticed because I mean they're so small. Like this package is 1 3/4 inches. The thing that stinks about needlework tools when you're out in antique stores and shopping for them is oftentimes they're in cases because they're small, and either they're in the case because they're small and very valuable, or just because they're small, meaning they can walk away very easily. So when you're going in through the stores and you're walking past, like there's some stores we go to where it's just, endless cases, 6 foot tall, just rows and rows and rows of cases. And, I never used to pay much attention to them in my early collecting years where I collected different things. So now I really have to pay attention to them. And I really, I try to be quick, but I also try to really peruse, and you'd be surprised. Your eyes get tired and your brain gets tired very quickly, really looking at all these things in these cases. And it's funny, there's a story that happened that recently when I went to Brimfield. I was in a vendor booth, and he had a bunch of stuff in like a, one of those short jewelry cases where you can look down through the top. And I had sent Dawn a picture because we were talking about a particular item that was in there. And later on in the day, she was like, you totally should have gotten that Coates and Clark's wooden, 6-inch ruler. This isn't it, but. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't see any rulers the whole time I was there. And then she was like, it was in the photo at the guy's booth. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I didn't even notice. Like, this is what happens is like you almost get like tool blindness. And that happens to me a lot. Like, I'll send her a photo because I'm talking about something, on this side of the case, like right in front. And then she'll be like, no, look at this thing. And she sends the picture back, totally blown up, focused in on like the other corner. And it's like something so far in the back, you would never have seen it no matter what. She's got the eagle eyes. What can I tell you? Look at this thing. So this is a mother of pearl. Again, it's hard to get that glisten on here. This is another stiletto, but like, isn't that hand really cool? Oh, that hand is so cool. And this thing is only 2.5 inches long. But I've never seen one with that, like a mother of pearl kind, with like that kind of detail on it. Yeah, let's see if I can zoom in on that other picture. Yeah, this one zoomed in better. Look at that. Like, they even did like the thumb fingernail. And then he's, the hand's holding on to, something. Maybe another stiletto. Maybe they're like, my stiletto broke, so use this one. And there's the back. I guess that one you can almost kind of see the sheen a bit. Very simplistic stiletto, but man, I guess it was like a whole big industry to like have those really elaborate, pretty tops. Usually I always often see silver or sterling. And then there's this one, which is more bone. I got this one because of the carving in the top. If you didn't, I'm pretty sure it was in the last unboxing I did just a week or two ago, where I bought a bone needle case from the same dealer. And it was square. And this reminded me a lot of that needle case. So I'm pretty sure that both items came from the same collection that she purchased. So I'm actually wondering if potentially they went together kind of like a set, either, purposefully, or it just kind of happened that way. So I got this to kind of investigate that, and maybe I would potentially sell them together as a set, because that would be really cool. I think that is gonna be, there's the back. I think that's our last item. Yep, that is our last item. And believe it or not, that is only a particular amount of stuff I got. Like, it's probably, that's the most interesting things I got, that's for sure. But I think it's about half. And then that's just in like the tool variety. I also bought a lot of I have a lot of quilt tops that I bought, like unfinished quilt tops. So I was going to tell you a story. Oh, so the story. Steph and I are, in Karen Redinger's booth forever. And we're rifling through these bins. And I've got like 700 things in my hand. At one point, Karen was like, here, let me take those things out of your hand and just like put them in this basket. And I guess my basket that was just kind of sitting off to the side on her table looked so interesting that someone else came up and started like shopping in my basket. And we had to be like, no, these things are sold. And she was like, oh my God. She was so embarrassed. But I'm like, hey, they're good things. They look really good. So I could see why you would do that. So anyways, we're rifling through. And then out of nowhere, this woman, I actually don't remember her name off the top of my head. Steph was here. I know Steph remembers her name. She like comes over to me on the side and she's like, what are you looking for? And I was like, well, these are bins of needlework tools and, I'm here to buy them. And I'm, rifling through here. And then she introduced herself. I feel really bad in the moment that I can't remember her name, but it's because I'm live on camera that I can't remember her name. And she introduced herself as a writer or an editor. I forget. If Barb's here, Barb would be able to tell me. Barb, if you're here, tell me what her name was. She's like, I write for Maine Antiques Digest, which if you don't know what that is, it's a big journal about antiques. It's like, so like if you open up a newspaper and you laid it out on like its first opening and it's really long, it's like that size. It's bound like a magazine, but then inside it's like kind of like newsprint type paper. I subscribe to it digitally just because it's so honking big. It's difficult to read. But oftentimes, if you go to antique stores or shows, they'll often have free ones by the door. So keep an eye out if you ever see that. Anywho, so she's like, yeah, I write for them and stuff. So then she takes down mine and Steph's names. And then I was like, oh, and like oftentimes when we buy stuff and stuff, we'll often talk about it on our our live YouTube channel. She's like, what's that? So I told her the name of that. And then Stephanie had do I have any here? I don't. Stephanie had new stickers made for these are the old ones, but I don't know if anyone's gotten one anywhere, but she had stickers made for the streaming, and that she had a new batch made that are a little bit different. So we gave her a sticker, and you never know when they do kind of they always do reviews of like big shows. Like they had free copies of their June publication, and in there was a bunch of review about the Brimfield show in Mass. They had like 5 pages about Brimfield. So my guess is when they do their Penn's review, there's a chance that our names could end up in there, because we were awfully excited like going through these bins. So she was probably like, what are those people doing over there? So that'll be really exciting. Obviously, if I see it in there, I will share on the live stream somewhere. Janet, so it's funny. So I do also have business cards, but it appears that stickers have made a big comeback, like in the 90s. I feel like some people just do cool stickers on top of a business card, like when they're like packing up orders or something like that. I've noticed some people just put fun stickers in. Also, I know if you go to like QuiltCon, a lot of vendors just have neat stickers. But I feel like a lot of other places also almost kind of use them simultaneously as a business card, like you're saying. Because so like Stephanie, so she made that one I just showed you for Quilt Nerding, but then she also has one for her Twitch channel, which is this. And then down the bottom here, you just can't see it, but like it's the address for her Twitch channel. And my guess would probably be, to a certain extent, is like, so for like a live stream, this is more interesting than a business card. I don't use that for I don't have a sticker for my my quilt dealing business. The JA Antiques and Vintage. I don't have a sticker for that, but I did experiment with having stickers made a lot of vendors will use a sticker like on the outside of your box, instead of like, because most small dealers aren't having like specialized boxes made with their logo or anything on it. So I experimented with that. It's just the first one I made, the sticker just didn't come out super well. So I can maybe still do something like that. But yeah, stickers have really made a comeback. When I was a kid, stickers were a big deal. You had Lisa Frank stickers. I had a sticker book that you put all the stickers in. And then a lot of people like they decorate stuff now with stickers, like the outside of their notebooks. I gave one of the Quilt Nerding stickers to Karen Redinger, and she had a little like just one of those plain like moleskin little tiny notebooks that she used as like kind of her register there to keep track of her sales. And it was a light colored blue. And she's like, oh my God, look, your sticker would look so perfect on the outside of my journal. And I'm like, yay. She's a very lovely person. I actually was joking. I was joking with her when she has these big bins. Again, it's a blessing and a curse because like, oh my God, all the stuff. But then also like her tables, if you get on her Instagram, which again, I put it in the description of this video, so like definitely go watch her. She doesn't post a ton on there, but she did post her booth at Penn's, and her booth was jam packed with stuff. So when you're trying to like rifle through these bins, it's all just thrown into a bin. So imagine just this heap of all of these like cased up little things, and I want to see every single thing in it, and I'm like trying to like peel some out so I have more room to like move things around. I'm like making sure to just I'm literally like in the booth like this, right? And every time I find something, I'm just like here, like handing it to her because she's sitting right next to me. And yes, Jan, putting the stickers on the water bottle is a big thing. QuiltCon did a whole like little, not quilt, I'm sorry, Quilt Folk. I think it might have been Quilt Folk. Did a thing about all the stickers they collected at QuiltCon, and it was like an Instagram reel, and they had 2 water bottles, and the Quilt Nerding sticker and Stephanie's sticker, because she was there handing them out, both made it onto the water bottles. We were both very excited about that. So so I'm trying to dig through these bins, and some other woman was talking to me about it. I don't remember what she was talking. Like, she might have been saying something like, how do you have the patience like to dig through all that? And I was like, well, for one, I told Karen to bring more of this stuff to the show because I just saw her 2 weeks ago, and her bins weren't as full then, because obviously like, doing this is work. Like you're writing on the back of everything. You've got to cut a card to fit this, this plastic envelope and stuff. So I mean, it takes time to do all that stuff. So I was joking. I'm like, I really should have messaged Karen the night before the show opened and been like, hey, bring the bins to my hotel room, because I really just wanted to sit on the floor and dump them out and like just go through every single thing. Like when I sit here and think about the things that were in there that maybe I didn't see, I kind of have a little bit of anxiety. That's how addicted that I am to these things. So I at least hope that showing them to you makes you just a little more addicted to them too, because they're super awesome and fun. So we're at 9:20. I think, that's longer than we would have gone on our regular live stream. So tomorrow, our Needlework Nights stream is still set to go on as scheduled. If anything changes, of course, we'll make an announcement. But at this point, I have no reason to think that it won't air like it's supposed to. So that's going to go on tomorrow night here, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're talking about... Oh, where did it go? Oh, 6-inch wooden sewing advertising rulers. We actually have a bunch because Don Ronigan's husband collects them. He collects 6-inch rulers, period. He just happens to have a set of sewing needlework related ones. So we're going to look at those. And then Steph has her stream on Thursday on her Twitch at 2 p.m. I have no reason to think that that's getting canceled. And I potentially we'll take more pictures and do another unboxing video if you guys like to see them. And then again, if there's, other than that one thing that I said, nope, it's definitely mine, which was this thing. If there was something here you were particularly in love with, you are welcome to message me on the Quilt Nerding Instagram, my business Instagram, JA Antiques and Vintage, my personal account on Facebook if you follow me there, or you can email. Anyway is totally fine. If you were like, hey, I was interested in that thing, because you guys technically are getting first look at them before anyone else does. So just a thing. And with that, I have a feeling that that's all the news. So I think we're going to say goodnight. So I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. I am going to go have myself some ice cream because it's hot and I deserve it. So you guys do too. So go and have some ice cream. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching.